So, portion control is something that's very common and very popular in the dieting world. And a lot of people are told, if only you could control the portions of things that you're eating, you'd be able to reach your body goals and maybe lose that weight you want to lose or find success with reaching your peak performance or whatever it might be. Like portion control is one of those things that's tossed around as a kind of magic bullet or a necessity in order to reach your body goals and create and craft a meal plan that works for you. However, I would completely disagree because portion control ignores your ability and the need to listen to your body's hunger and fullness cues. Rather than, saying to yourself, oh, I'm going to have some nuts and and a piece of fruit, right? And like eating and seeing how you feel and assessing your hunger levels. You eat that whole piece of fruit and you eat those allotted nuts that fit in that portion controlled container or whatever you measured out. And then you decide after that you're full. However, what really should have happened was, you take out an apple and you take out some nuts. And, I'm all for taking food out of packages. I don't think that eating out of packages promotes listening to your body necessarily either. So you take the food out, you put some nuts on a plate, and you eat until you feel satisfied. Not full, not still hungry, but satisfied. And with portion control as well, I think it can sometimes restrict the number of fruits and vegetables that you're eating. And in reality, most of those foods can work in any meal, any person's eating plan and not have a detrimental effect on your weight goals, especially vegetables. Like we should never be measuring unless you're trying to eat a lot, which is good when it comes to things like cruciferous vegetables, dark leafy greens, things like that. You do want to eat a lot, but even with those things, you don't want to eat them past the point of fullness. You shouldn't say to yourself, oh, I'm going to eat this entire huge salad just because it's a lot of green vegetables. Even with those things, you have to be listening to your body, chewing your food slowly. I like how I just did that chewing symbol with my hand. Chewing your food slowly and paying attention to what your body is telling you. It's when we do things like portion control or anytime you try to go on a diet that you are completely ignoring what your body is telling you and your innate ability to know when you have had enough and when you have not. And that tends to be one of the biggest things that dancers or anyone is struggling with is that, for dancers, I think we tend to try and get into a more restrictive eating plan. So, you start out your day and you say, oh, I'm only going to eat this small portion of oatmeal because I'm trying to lose weight and I think that a small portion is better. And then you only pack yourself for lunch, say you're dancing professionally for the company, day of rehearsals and class and everything. You pack yourself for lunch, a small salad or a little bit of soup, and you say, okay, that's all I'm going to have because I'm trying to lose weight. So you're cutting back. And then a lot of the dancers who I work with and what I experienced as well, when you come to the end of your day and you go home and you sort of settle in, you're starving and you eat everything in sight. And this can lead to that dangerous cycle of restriction and binging. And then you say to yourself, oh my gosh, I ate so much tonight that tomorrow I'm going to do a detox and, only have water and tea, or I'm going to go back to that restriction in the morning and afternoon. And this time I'm going to stick it through to the evening and continue to cut back. So this is where the whole problem with either, giving yourself this teeny tiny amount and saying that should be enough for me, I shouldn't be hungry for any more, and not paying any attention to what you actually need. And also the whole restriction problem can fall into place for dancers as well. We see restriction and control as, that desired place to go, that desired trajectory. That is what we convince ourselves is going to get us to our best bodies. However, the reality is that you have to listen to your body and give it what it needs, which is going to likely include all the macronutrients. So you need the carbs, you need the fat, you need the protein. You shouldn't be cutting out any specific macronutrient because they're all essential for life. So it's finding that right balance for yourself. I hope that this was helpful and gave you some perspective on that concept of portion control, or a little bit of perspective on that feeling like you should be cutting back or restricting your food versus listening to your body. We'll get more deeply into ways to get more in tune with yourself, because I know a lot of people sort of lose touch with that, and then it becomes much more challenging to get back on track in a healthful way. So we'll get more into that. And we'll talk a little bit about the ways to really approach food in future episodes. Thank you so much again for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the Whole Dancer YouTube channel. And if you would like a free Dancer's Best Body checklist, be sure to go to thewholedancer.com/sign-up. Sign up.